everyone. Welcome back to Keep the Community Fed podcast. This is episode 7, and we have a very, very special guest today. But I'm one of your hosts, Carmen Smith. I'm the executive director at White Center Food Bank with my co-host.
Hey, everybody. I'm Gabbi Gonzales. I'm the co-chair for the Food Bank Board.
And we have a very special guest. We have Theary with us today. You might know her artwork, but you might not know her. So she is the creative behind the Taste of White Center poster. So hopefully you've seen that on our social media. Maybe you went to the Taste of White Center last year in 2024 and got to see the beautiful art that she's created for us and that she continued to do for us this year too. We're very lucky. But I want to hand it over to our production team, Jefferson, who does our sound production, and Randy, who does our video production that makes this podcast happen, but to talk more about Theary because they have a lot of interaction with her putting on our events.
Hi, Theary. I will say the relationship with Theary for Taste of White Center has been very organic and supernatural, and it's been so fun, like just collaborating with you over the past year. And you've always been open to feedback, and the relationship that we built with you doesn't seem business oriented at all. It's just very fun and it's a lot of back and forth, which is awesome to see because commission work, it's never like that. It's always just like super professional and like just paid work, but you receiving feedback and just going back and forth on emails and ideas has been super fun to see the process happen and come to fruition.
And super professional. So, yeah, actually, it's been really a pleasure working with Theary for a variety of reasons. And, the story behind the poster for the Taste of White Center is pretty cool. So I just wanted to start with that. And, my first interaction with Theary was a proposal for the Taste of White Center poster. Kmher, our community king, and on our mural outside of the food bank, owns the spot across the way. He recommended working with Theary, and we had actually put a call out for artists to submit ideas and samples, and Theary sent this message. I'm going to read a little bit of it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's perfect. So Theary actually did not submit any artwork. She said for unforeseen circumstances could not provide some artwork, but it was the concept that just won us over. And so she said, "My concept is a twist on Where's Waldo. The Where's Waldo concept is a fun and engaging way to showcase the diversity and vibrancy of White Center, incorporating elements of its food, culture, and people. Here are some ways to develop this concept." And I won't read it all, but she talks about illustrations, creating colorful illustrations of the landmarks and the street scenes, the food vendors, incorporating all the food vendors in White Center, and showing their unique cuisines and storefronts and cultural references, including subtle nods to the diverse culture represented in White Center. And she says, "I grew up in White Center and played basketball for Evergreen High School. During grad school at Washington State University, I coached the Evergreen High School girls basketball team for a couple of years. White Center holds a special place in my heart, so I hope to stay connected in the future." This was so well thought out. The concept was so cool. We hadn't even seen any artwork, but we were like, this is what we want. And I'm going to pass it back to Carmen. And for those viewers that are seeing the video, you can see just the amazing way that this concept came to life. And we're so grateful to have you here today, Theary. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, spoiler alert, that art is so cool. It's on my wall at home.
Oh, that makes me feel really happy to hear that. And taking a risk on my God. Because when I sent it, I was like, I'm just gonna send it because this is a cool idea. They'll go with whoever, resonates with them. And I was like, oh, I got the role. And so the rest was just fun. It was just really fun because when you grow up in White Center, you just know so much more than someone who hasn't grown up in White Center. So you know, kind of like the energy, things that are more important than other things, other landmarks. So it was super fun.
Remember Jefferson getting that email from you because it was like pretty soon after, if not like immediately, he was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I know who we're gonna choose to do our art for the Taste of White Center. What do you think?" And I was like, "Trust your gut, go for it." And I think it has been definitely the right choice. And when we saw the artwork, we just fell in love, and now we're obsessed with it. You know, I wish I would have bid on the giant one that we did at the auction in the fall, because I mean, we would have hung it up in the lobby for sure, but I mean, we get so many compliments on it, and I have it in my office too, and I'll be in meetings and people are like, "What is that poster?" It's the Taste of White Center, so definitely talented. But I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, maybe tell listeners a little bit more about you and your experience growing up in White Center, and how you stay connected with community.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we grew up in White Center. My family we had a house by the White Center Heights, and now we're like on the other side. So it's funny how White Center Sherwood feels so different, but it's the same to me. It's the same community. So I've done a lot of traveling, but what keeps me grounded is White Center. So I am a pharmacist, and I went to undergrad at UW, and I actually studied visual arts because I knew that I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do pharmacy the rest of my life. So let me just pick a major that I'll have fun with.
Smart.
And, you know, like it was just, and honestly, you had all these hard science classes, and then you're like, oh, I gotta do art. Like it got your
To
GPA
balance
up.
it out. Yeah, exactly.
Even Rich got your GPA up. So, and then I went to WCU, so the opposite side of Washington, and became a pharmacist. And I did that for, I don't know, 5, 8 years or so. But art has always been kind of like the underlining uh, theme throughout my life. So I would always do like just fun creative things. My friends and I, like with Kmher, we did That's Filthy. So we did a
Yeah.
t-shirt. We just decided to do a t-shirt company based off of the Seattle sports iconic moments. And then there was opportunity to go to live abroad. So I traveled to Munich with my boyfriend, now my husband at the time, and I got a job as a UI designer. So I lived out in Germany for a year.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just knew I wanted to try to experience that. And so, like, just getting out of your comfort zone is super important to me to just grow and develop. So circling back to that, came back to the US, and I knew that I wanted to go back to art somehow. So that's where my current role, I'm a UX UI designer at a cancer center. And so I get to I do work with like philanthropy work and, you know, brochures or posters or invitations to developing like clinical dashboards for like the clinical team or the pharmacokinetics team. It's like really, really makes me happy that I get to do both.
Yeah.
It took a while to figure that out because I didn't know I knew it was something out there, but I didn't know what it was called. And so being a UX UI designer now, but I still hold my pharmacist degree, but I'm not like traditionally practicing pharmacy. But it's given me the opportunities and the freedoms to work remotely and travel and do projects like this because White Center has always been important to me, and connecting with the food bank has kind of been that creative outlet that it's important to me, and it's almost like liberating too, and to see like how you can give back. So recently I was able to work abroad in South Korea while working. So there's
Cool.
more. I thought I was done with Germany, but it's just all the travel has really like shaped how I view the world, our
Yeah.
community, how I view my art, design. So I'm always inspired. I'm always kind of outside of the comfort zone. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm also Cambodian American, and looking forward to celebrating the New Year coming up soon. And
Yeah.
a year later, now I'm 9 months pregnant. So it's like we were really taking a risk. And when Jefferson was like, "We'll have a contingency plan," I was like, "That's good to have one." So I'm due like next Saturday.
Oh wow.
Soon.
I'm due soon. I'm due soon. And I just honestly, I was like, you know what? Let's just go for it because one day my daughter, maybe she'll see this and maybe she'll be inspired. Like, if you want to do something, you should just go do it.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll be a guest.
Right? Bring her by the event this year.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit about me, and I have a really big family, and I still friends with my friends from elementary, high school. Very close friends with Kmher. And I just really proud of where we grew up. So
Just to back
Yeah.
up for a second, I think you said UI designer, and then you said one other
Oh,
like
UX.
3 UX. What are those two? What is that?
Yeah, so UX UI designer is user experience, user interface
Okay.
designer.
Oh.
So everything like your MacBook, somebody designed it and put it together. How are they going to use it? How it's going to look like? How it's going to flow? Like all of that. Logging
that's
into
so
email.
cool.
So it's like it's like there's a lot of traits between a pharmacist and a UX designer that I find, like empathy and being a good listener and thinking outside the box. Like there's a lot of ties to it. It took a while to figure out, but I'm happy I found it. So
Yeah, that's so cool that you get to like kind of marry those two passions of yours
yeah,
into a career.
yeah. Which I've only met a handful of women, other pharmacists who've done that, and they're doing really unique, fun things too. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. Okay, so you said that you worked with Kim Nong with Das Filthy, right? So did you do that White Center 5K t-shirt from
Long time
like
ago
2017?
with the 4.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my gosh. If you know, you know, because that was my first year that I started working at the food
Oh, okay.
bank, and that was like my first food bank event.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, like I didn't get a t-shirt, and I was so bummed because there was a lot of conversation about the
Oh, yeah.
t-shirt, and
Yeah.
I really respected where the artist came from when explaining
Yeah, I remember that.
the t-shirt. And I would ask for a long time, but finally Aaron was like, "Hey, I'm cleaning out the CDA storage unit.
You got
I
one."
have old White Center 5K t-shirts." And I was like, "Do you have the one from 2017? Because I want it. I don't care what size." And it's like one of my most prized
awesome.
possessions. I have a lot of memories attached to that 5K.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. I had Kim Nong support. And we shared he'll come up with like concepts and I'll just we just feed off of each other. And the material of the t-shirt was really good too.
Yes.
The
Yes.
material was really important, but it was really, we just go back all the way then.
Wow. I love that. Like, I had asked Kim Nong about it too, and he was like, "Oh, he didn't say like who the artist was or anything, but I just love that connection."
For
So
folks that don't know, can we hear a little bit of backstory about the 2017 5K t-shirt?
can you help me remember all of the folks that were on it? I think what stood out most to me was there is a Asian gentleman wearing a rice hat with like the long mustache, right?
Yeah.
And that spurred a lot of controversy and created a lot of conversation in the community about maybe perpetuating stereotypes of certain cultures by the graphics that were used on it. And I think the way that I understood it was that these are our ancestors, and so this is our way of honoring our ancestors. This isn't meant to be like stereotyping any type of culture, but we really want to honor the folks that came before us.
Yeah. So I was just, maybe there was just surprised, that it was just so clear and sharp, so, but I'm happy that it moved forward, the
Yeah.
art moved forward. So
Yeah, and I think it's good to have hard conversations like that, right? And like really try to kind of build understanding from both sides too, but also recognizing like what the intent was and who is creating the art and for what reasons, I think is also really important. And so that's what that t-shirt represents to me and why I'm in love with it. So I've been in love with your art for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So can you tell us a little bit about your creative process and what that's like?
Yeah, for sure. So it starts out with my creative process would be like start if I'm working with somebody, just to listen, like listen to what they're looking for. Usually it's just an idea or a concept. They may not know like what exactly. Some are very clear and they know what they want, but I also push back to just make sure the design's going to turn out good. But I like to listen and empathize and try to really pull out like keywords that stand out to me and what they're looking for. I'll start there. And then depending on what the type of project it is, if it's going to be on a shirt or if it's going to be a poster, because there's limitations, you got to think about color, cost, and things like that. But I start sketching and then looking for inspiration. And once I find the inspiration, then it's kind of like a lot of iterations. Like I'm always inspired more by like color and a feeling because the art or designs that I do, I want people to feel something, whether it's like nostalgic or they feel emotionally connected or they feel challenged by it. Just because then it'll trigger a feeling, and that's important to me. And with the Taste of White Center, it's more for like the vibrancy and how special White Center is, and so that's why I went with like brighter colors. Um, so that's typically my design process, and then I like to iterate. I'll talk to everybody. It's super open because at the end of the day, it's like it's not what I want. Like I have opinion, but it's whoever I'm speaking with and working with. That's what's important because that's what's going to be represented out there. So um, it's not about me at all. I'm just like a messenger, kind of in a vessel. Just be like, hey, is this what you were looking for? If it doesn't work out, like I have no ego in disconnecting myself from an idea, to get to where we need to go. So, um, so that's my design process. Did you want me to talk about more like specific to Taste of White Center? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. We can go back originally to last year's design. I knew I wanted to call out like all the businesses, but the Where's Waldo was fun for me because the one of the things was just engagement, trying to engage with the community. And so finding Waldo or now like the Rat City wearing
Yeah.
the rat wearing the red and white shirt. Now I could like move it around so people can look for it. But I also wanted to use people who are representative of the community and how other kids can identify it. Because I remember talking to my friends and they were like, oh, that's me and me and me. And but where am I over there? Like the little kids were looking for themselves in there.
Cute.
So it was really fun to finally look at like the isometric design style because it didn't have to be perfect. It wasn't about being perfect. It was
Yeah.
about designing something to represent the community, and it didn't have to be literal of where the businesses were. Like it's close, but you can move things around, and it just gives opportunity for it to extend year after year, which it looks like it's happening this year.
Oh, I don't think we're gonna get rid of this
You're
like overall
forever.
concept.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, so like I was just happy to find that the concept, like finding the concept, then I feel like the door is kind of open and then it just flows. So with this one, I started with a sketch, and the sketch almost terrified me. I was like, wait, how am I gonna do this? Because sometimes you have this great concept, then you get there and you're literally putting pencil and paper down, and you're like, wait, this is just not connecting. But then once I brought it digitally and had a system like do the grid, do the buildings, and then the rest the fun stuff happens to do the structure, then I'll get it together. And then I even went not a lot of people might know this, but each of the signs, I think Jefferson knows, but each of the names of the businesses use the font instead of little woodies. I put burgers, right? Or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's the font of Little Woody's. So I use Adobe Illustrator to find the font. So each, like even Moonshot, instead of Moonshot,
Yes.
it's coffee.
Yes.
It's their,
Okay, that one I did.
there's like a
yeah.
nod to like if I could find it, the font to it. And to me, like, it doesn't matter if anyone knew or not. I just thought it was cool.
No,
'Cause
that
I
is
really
cool.
wanted to.
That you created like a new game for me to play when looking at your
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah. So, and then the colors is just, like yellow. Colors represent certain things, right? Red, food, hungry,
Yeah.
energy. Yellow was for me like the brightness that to me White Center feels, or the hope that it'll bring, or the community that it'll feed. So, and that's how. And then it just kind of came. And then if additions were needed, it was fun to just add them because everything is a layer. So I can add certain buildings or take away a building or add more businesses. So, it was a really fun process. And I guess like the time to put into that didn't really matter just because I really wanted it to feel a certain way or look a certain way. Because once you're in it, you just want to finish it. You want to finish it well, and you're also having fun. So like, I was just really happy with how it turned out.
How many hours do you think it took you to develop, like from start to like the final product last year?
I can't even remember
Yeah.
because you kind of go in blocks because I have a
Okay.
full-time job and everything.
Yeah.
So you kind of go in blocks and sometimes you sit there for 4 to 6 hours because if you're in the flow of things, you just don't want to stop. And so and then you kind of have to figure out, okay, I'm doing this in Procreate. I got to get it over to a different software,
Mm.
make sure I label the files because if I need to come back to it, I'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of time. It was so worth it because y'all are so happy. The community is happy. I've seen kids and people so like just looking for it. Like last year, I didn't get to see the black and white to see how they were, if they were using a color with it or not. But I just got a
the
lot of
coloring.
positive feedback. Yeah,
The coloring sheets
Yeah,
that we
the-
had for the kids.
yeah. So it's just I feel it was just it's such a. It turned out I didn't expect the outcome of what it would turn out to be, but I'm glad it was positive.
I mean, we want to put it on everything. We put it on a beer can.
Oh yeah, so that was a cool surprise. Like that was really really cool just to see that process. I never thought my art would be on a beer can.
We're
You
gonna
know?
do it again this year.
Maybe I could bring our daughter. Like this is not how you were conceived, but here we are.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
When you first sent the draft, I like jumped out of my seat and ran to Jefferson's office and was
Oh.
like, "Do you see this like design? This is like insane." So just seeing like a refreshing design and like something that screams White Center was just so amazing to see. And I think just seeing like the rough draft to the final draft was just amazing. So
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and we're doing it again. So we're brewing another beer, Abundance IPA. It's going to come out for Taste White Center again. So this year's poster will be on there. So looking forward to that. You should bring your daughter.
For sure. Like by then I think I'll be ready to see the light.
Yeah.
For listeners that maybe don't know, but Future Primitive brews a beer for us each year. This is the third year. And it's usually released right around the time of the Taste of White Center, but the proceeds do go to the food bank. So keep your eye out for that. And it's called Abundance IPA because abundance is very much one of the virtues that we like to lead with here at White Center Food Bank. And I hope you all come out to the Taste of White Center, of course, but also if you see Abundance IPA, either at Future Primitive or at any of the local bars while you're out, definitely grab a glass because you're drinking for a good cause. And we'll have beautiful artwork on it with the updated Taste of White Center poster.
June 28th, Taste of White Center, Abundance IPA. Come hang out.
Can I ask a question in a little bit of a maybe a
Yeah.
different direction than we were going to go immediately? So you have like this light that shines from you, and you've expressed a couple times what it means, or like this feeling of being from White Center and the hope of White Center, and you shared some other sentiments, and like I can feel that, and I feel that, and it makes me think about my hometown, and it also makes me think about White Center, because conversation that we've had on the podcast is like that people don't always recognize how special this area is, but like we know, right? I'm curious to you, like, what is that hope? What is that feeling? Kind of what are your thoughts around what it means to be from White Center?
Yeah. Well, one, like to continue to continue to have these businesses thrive, whether it's going to be like having more business storefront updates, lighting, safety, um, but still not have people pushed out and still could afford rent. Like, like still have the diversity, the food. Like there's such a variety of different cuisine here.
Yes.
And you could walk everywhere and get what you need or try different foods, you know? So, and it's, I'm almost 40 and I still feel like this young, like, well, it obviously White Sun's a lot different now than back then. Cause back then I probably wouldn't have been walking around, but, but it still has this energy that I would be proud to show anybody,
Yeah.
like to take them here to try a pastry, to try pho, to try sandwiches, burgers. It's like more family oriented now as I'm approaching that age. So like my hope is that this organization continues to thrive and that they're still going to be raising funds to feed the community because you guys are feeding a lot more people to bring awareness. And I think that through art, you can create a lot of awareness and help raise funds in a creative way because y'all like collaborate with organizations through art partnerships and events, which is really cool. Like I see the White Center Food Bank doing a lot of different things, and I think that's really amazing. And I hope that this community stays tight knit so that way it'll still thrive and maybe work with local high schools, a school, all of that. So I think the core of my message is that I want the diversity to still be here.
Yeah.
And still be affordable and still keep its essence,
Yeah. And what does that look like in like the face of gentrification, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if everyone benefits, it's a community, right? So if everyone benefits, it's great, but I don't know how that's gonna look like. I just hope that the business that have been here for so long can still thrive, and the services that are provided here can still do well, Yeah.
What gives you hope for the White Center community?
People, honest people like y'all, seriously, because you guys do so much great work. Friends like Kmher, like just very people who are really passionate about the community, who want to uplift it, who want to bring new businesses in maybe an innovative way. That we're still, just conversations and connections and awareness, and maybe hiring people who are new to the community or from the community and being hired on and can really like they have a purpose or an intention to like make it better, it won't just be like a salary, like
Right.
so I think that's important. So like for me to be able to partner with the White Center Food Bank, it's really important to me because I want to put my best foot forward and bring awareness through design, which is how I can give back. Yeah. So
I feel that.
So you mentioned Cambodian New Year earlier, and it is so White Center does a Cambodian New Year festival each year. It's second biggest in Washington State.
I'm not sure.
I think behind Tacoma, maybe. It's one of the biggest in Washington State. And I don't know how long they've been having that festival here in White Center, but
3, maybe more,
a long time, I think.
maybe longer.
Yeah. But how I'm curious how you celebrate Khmer New Year and what are some of your favorite memories
Yeah, for sure.
celebrating the New Year?
Yeah. So I feel like growing up like Khmer American, it's like a mix. You're like mixed with like the like you do some things, you don't do some things. And so growing up, we did a lot of like prayer things. We used to go to temple a lot growing up, and then we got older in the early 20s, and I didn't do so much because I was like going to school and doing all these things. And then currently, we would celebrate at home, so we'd cook a lot of food together. And then even more currently, I went to the temple. Like I'll attend the White Center Khmer New Year festival, and I hope this year it doesn't rain. I just feel like we get rain. I know it's like the mark of the end of the harvest season, right?
Yeah.
But we do get rain, and I hope this year there's no rain for once. But going to the New Year or going to the temple and eating the food, supporting the vendors, like they'll sell like scarves and sarongs and playing games or like learning about it so late in my life, learning about my mom, like the prayers, and there's like these mounds of sand that you could put punks in for incense and things like that. So, and then prayer with the monks and offering food. So I don't have like a favorite memory, but for me, it's more about like learning what I can to preserve it.
Yeah.
It's my challenge now because now that I have it shouldn't have taken having a daughter to like pursue this, right? But it's given me the push. Like I recently finished like an 8-week Cambodian writing course. Like I can speak, but I can't and listen, but I understand, but I can't read and write.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me do this. So I just did an 8-week online course to just try to, if I can read it, then I could still pass on the information.
Yeah.
And another thing would be like just to learn how to cook more Cambodian food, which goes into some of my favorite, like I love salamachu, which is like, it's like a sour type tamarind based soup.
Yum.
And there's a thing called chakrung, which is like lemongrass chicken, anything chicken, or there's like a stuffed chicken wing. That's really good.
Yum.
That's like really good. But it's so hard to make and time consuming that when you enjoy the stuffed chicken wing, you just really savor it. You just have to savor it. And there people play games too, like Cloud Cloak, which is like, I don't know if you've seen, it's like a where they have a bunch of animals and then you roll the dice, put some money on it, and it's just a fun game to play during New Year's. So it's just a variety of things, for New Year's. It's just a time to celebrate, make sure your house is clean. Just a start of a new year. And honestly, when you think about it, you have like New Year, and then you have Cambodian New Year. So if like you didn't hit your goals, you just start over. That Khmer New Year. But it's all just full of joy, and like one day I'd love to be in Cambodia to celebrate it because there's a water festival and there are like boat races, and Long Beach has I've always seen it online. I would love to be in Long Beach because they do like a whole parade with all like the Khmer clothes, and it seems really cool. So one of these days I would love to celebrate out there. Yeah.
Which temple do you go to, or did you?
Well, I know there's one in South Park, but the one I went to is like all the way in Yelm. I don't remember the name, but it's in Yelm.
That's far.
Yeah, but it's really, really big. It's new. A lot of people travel all the way out there. They'll do like the steak skewers, which is called satchakat.
Yeah, yum.
Like all the good food. It's so good.
Is there a big community out in Yelm, or just was it affordable land? Do you know?
I don't know.
It's
But
an interesting location.
you need a lot of parking.
Yeah.
A lot of parking because we all show up and there's not that many out there. So, but it's a good time. Like everyone's just happy to be around each other and celebrating, and it's really cool.
So when I was on the participatory budget steering committee, that's how I initially met Kmher, and the temple in, I guess, South Park
Yeah.
that they're almost done building, I think. I got to celebrate. They invited us to come celebrate, and I had been to the White Center Festival, but I had never been to a temple or gotten to see like some of the more traditions that are done on that day, and it was such a beautiful experience. My husband came, and one of the other staff members at White Center Food Bank came, and we were just treated like family.
That's awesome.
And I just love like thinking about that embrace and how people were just so accepting of us. They were so excited to have us and to be able to show us, and just getting to learn more about the culture and also get to see the temple and like the art on that temple.
Oh my god, yeah, so intricate.
So intricate.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me. They shared that one of the monks had done a lot of the exterior art
Oh,
from memory from a temple that he had worked or been a part of in Cambodia, and had done like a lot of that by hand
wow.
from memory. It was so incredible thinking about how that temple was built too. I think it took like 20 some years, and a lot of the donations were from the community. Just Kmher folks, elders that would just like continue to donate and donate and donate to get it built. And the participatory budget funding through King County, I think, really kind of brought it to the finish line. But it was like 20 some years, and
I didn't know it was that long.
I think it's such a beautiful story, and just thinking of how a community comes together and sees a common purpose and a common goal to work together, no matter how long it takes. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel to Cambodia, and they
Yay.
have like a Angkor artisans group there, and what they do is they teach carving, like wood, stone, like what you saw at the South Park temple, and like embroidery and all these things. And then when we were able to visit Angkor Wat, they were doing restoration work.
Wow.
So it was really cool. Like, and like I think it just, whenever I was able to visit, it feels really incredible to like walk around and understand everybody, like, or like, to me they say like, okay, you don't look like you're Cambodian, because they just look different with
Yeah.
the US. But when they're asking me, do you want to get a tuk-tuk, and I'm like, no, they're like, oh yeah, so they'll leave me alone. or like, I was like, oh, they'll give me a discount once they figure out I'm Cambodian. But it just feels so good to be around your people. So when we're celebrating Khmer New Year, and you see all these, your cousins, your uncles, your friends, old friends from here, there, everywhere, it just feels really good. It's like really great time for a celebration. So I definitely feel very fortunate and blessed, and have like a really supportive family who just let me do my thing. Yeah.
What you said about just getting to be surrounded by your people really resonates with me. I got to go to the Philippines for the first time at the end of last year, and because I'm mixed, like a lot of, I'm racially ambiguous, culturally ambiguous, but being in the Philippines, like I didn't really know what to expect, but it was refreshing because I just kind of fit in.
Yeah.
Like there weren't a lot of people like looking at me, or I didn't like look super different, whereas in some spaces here in the US I am like obviously very different from the rest of the people in my room or in the room. So that resonates with me a lot.
Yeah.
I think that that's really interesting. I share the same thing with Carmen, where I'm racially ambiguous. I'm Mexican, half Mexican, half Jewish. And I don't feel that space of belonging very often. Like, I feel
Yeah.
it around racially ambiguous people, but I do face a challenge of like, if I'm around Latinas, sometimes like I don't round for them, or if I'm around like Jewish middle-aged women in particularly, like I don't round for them. And so I do find like I've been to Mexico several times, and I do find like if I walk down the street with my mouth closed and
Yeah.
things go pretty well. But it is like one sudden movement, I get asked a question if the Spanish is too fast and I don't get it. And then I'm like, obviously American. But I really like listening to your stories about connecting with your culture and who you are and feeling a space of belonging, because I think I long for that. And so I love hearing that from other people. And I don't have a lot of experience with the Cambodian community, but in my professional job, I worked with somebody from your community on a grant, and the grant was to try to bring a space where there would be a teaching space in a garden. And the point of it was to connect the youngers to the elders, because she had expressed that that was something that she had felt, or the community was feeling like was getting lost, is like that culture from generation to generation, which I do think happens when I've experienced that with my dad's side and my mom's side, where when folks came to the United States, they were either so scared, right? Like coming over from Russia during World War II and being Jewish, and so just wanting to assimilate, or just being brown in the United States, right? And just wanting to not speak Spanish. And so it's that thing around, we lost our cultures over a certain amount of decades. And now our generation, I'm 41, so our generation is like trying to bring that back, right? And that connection again, that I think is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, maybe I shared this on a previous episode, but my cousin who was with me in the Philippines was like, don't open your mouth and you'll be fine.
They could just tell.
That's a lot of good advice a lot of times.
I mean,
They
in
just
general,
tell.
probably. Yeah, but I have been looking at taking a Tagalog class, and you've inspired me to be a little bit more serious about it, but um just being able to connect with my culture in that way, and you know, if we do have kids down the line, you know, that is definitely something that I will want to share with them too. But being able to have that, I don't know, and connect and share that legacy is really important, and something that I've been thinking more about as I approach 40 as well.
Well, it's wild though, because like if you're around it more, like when you're traveling to Philippines, obviously everyone's most of everyone's Filipino.
Yeah.
But like when I was in Cambodia, I started speaking. Even though like I don't have an embarrassment of how I speak, I just try,
Yeah.
just because they know I'm trying.
Yeah.
And then a lot of Cambodian people speak English when you're there.
Yeah.
But when I was there, I just feel like you pick it up more.
Mm.
So that's why when people like do grants or they study abroad or go to school abroad, you just pick it up more just because you're around it, right?
Yeah.
So for us growing up, my parents would always speak Cambodian, and then they're learning English, so we would reply back. They'd reply in English, or some words I wouldn't understand. You know, till this day, sometimes I don't understand it, but I'm just thankful that, like, even raising kids, having grandparents, if we're fortunate to have grandparents that speak the language, it's just super helpful. Just hearing it and being around it, and I think if you do decide to take the course, it just at least you know you can always study it and go back to it and read about it. You know,
Yeah.
even if, like, for me, I did the course and like I was stuck at week 3 and it was an 8-week course. but I tried.
Yeah.
I tried, and I can go back and watch the videos and like talk to my parents, ask because they taught themselves. At least my mom did, because back then women didn't go to school.
Mm.
She had to teach herself, so I could ask her. So I needed the structure. Like if they were to teach me, it'd be challenging, right? Because I'm like, why am I putting these letters together, and why is it just one long phrase, or So I needed the structure to understand, and then you go back to it. You can see, be like, oh, okay, I kind of can understand the words. I understand the words, so now I'm putting the letters together. It helped me learn a little more. And then a lot of the students understood each other, because we were just trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were just trying. So
That's cool. Was it all adults in your class?
yeah, it was an online course. And all of us were, maybe one wasn't Cambodian, but most of it were Cambodian or mixed Cambodian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or like they took the course, left for a while, and like, okay, I need to redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. At the food bank, we of course like to celebrate with the community through food, and we've talked about kind of our cultural holiday celebrations that we do here at White Center Food Bank on past episodes, but we have started doing our Cambodian New Year food distribution, and this is something that we offer to all families. Regardless if they celebrate the new year or not. And it's been our way to kind of build connection across cultures through food. So we have our food behind me that we're giving out this year. So we've got rice noodles, coconut milk, and then customers can have a choice between oyster sauce or the chili garlic sauce. And then I believe the meat is chicken. And then we have some lemongrass too, which is really exciting. And so we like to do those special holiday foods a few weeks like leading up to the holiday, recognizing that many folks choose to celebrate at home. And so want to make sure that they have an opportunity to get whatever food that they want that's important to them in order to celebrate the holiday. And the White Center Cambodian New Year celebration is Saturday, April 26th in downtown White Center. So White Center Food Bank will have a table, and maybe Theary will be out and about.
I don't know.
Signing autographs.
Signing autographs.
That's like 2 weeks after giving
I
birth.
know.
Yeah. So she'll obviously be
You
out.
can just have like a photo.
Yeah.
I'm there in spirit.
Somebody walks around with it.
Just FaceTime me when you're there.
I do love a good FaceTime. But you also design these. They're so freaking cute.
I love it.
It's our food bank van, but Theary made a sticker and it has like all this food on it. The wheels are oranges. So we'll have that at our table at the Cambodian New Year festival. And what was the inspiration behind the sticker?
So the inspiration was like, I just feel like the van is so symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
You deliver food to so many. I was just reading that. So I also donate to the food bank. So I got the copy of the annual report.
Yeah.
I was like,
job.
oh, cool. Okay. So then just reading, when I was doing the map, I was reading about all the homes that are the food delivered to on a daily basis, or no, monthly, 300
a month.
300 a month.
Total
300 a month
okay.
have like increased by 40% since last year. Like, I'm just like, and like to me, design can help raise funds. Like we see it all the time through philanthropy at a cancer center, like how you design things to bring awareness, to show like could help people donate more, volunteer, things like that. So I had to make sure I did the van just because it's so iconic. To me, it's so iconic, and the logo is so iconic of the food bank. And that, because kind of like a transparency between they're delivering. So I wanted to do orange rims. So I wanted to do
It's so cute.
I wanted to do orange rims, and then like make sure eggs are on there because eggs are like $8.
Everybody's talking about eggs.
Everybody's talking about
eggs. And then I wanted to use like the loaf of bread, just staples, the loaf of bread, and I just feel like everyone needs to get fed. Like it's just so important for you to think to go to school. We had reduced lunch growing up, so like if it was more, it was like, oh my god, like if it costs a little more, it was like, I don't know, it just felt like we were thankful we had reduced lunch at least, So I just wanted to show like what how much impact the White Center Food Bank does and what they're delivering. So I just wanted a transparent van rolling around and everyone would just know it's the food bank van.
Oh, it's so sweet.
When are we gonna get this decal
I know,
printed onto the actual van?
Working on it. Yeah, so something else that you designed for us that we hadn't really talked about is in our annual report, somebody, Jefferson, maybe came up with this idea for a map of kind of our ancillary services. A lot of what we're trying to do is be more thoughtful in talking about that when we're out in community, because we talk so much about what's happening in the food bank that sometimes it kind of like goes over our own heads, like what we do beyond these four walls. And so we had a video created last year to talk about that. And then with this year's annual report, Jefferson and the development team wanted to do this map, and Theary did the map for us, and Jefferson showed it to me, I don't know, earlier this year. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so freaking cute. Like the little orcas that are on it, the van, putting the van on there too. So if folks got our annual report, take a look at the map. It's really interesting to also see just the amount of services that this organization is able to do. And we're already scheming on blowing up that map and putting it in the lobby.
Yeah, it's super important because, a lot of the concept was from Jefferson and the team. So it was my job to kind of take that concept and like make sure it's represented and it's clean and simplified so it's easy to understand. And so when we talk about like marketing and showing all the ancillary work that's done, I just wanted to make it very engaging and clear. And so for me to look at, I'm like, wow, I didn't know like it served all the way West Seattle, Kent, Renton, Burien. I didn't know that. So it was a learning experience for me to see all the food that's provided at a lot of locations.
If folks haven't seen the annual report, are we blasting that on socials? Have we blasted that on socials?
It's about to be up on the website. We'll get it up and have it on the socials as well. Yeah.
I've been trying to check LinkedIn to see if it was there yet, and I don't think that it is, but I'm sure it's going there soon.
By the time this podcast is published,
you do like a PDF spread of it or a flip book,
Yeah.
Ooh,
digital flip book.
That's what our strategic plan is is a flip book. So that's how I knew what you were talking about. Otherwise,
Something about the sound effects on the pages.
It's so satisfying.
Turn the page.
So, okay. So you talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to ask you again. What meal reminds you of home?
Home. I would say it's so hard because there's so many. Because my mom's just an amazing chef. Her and my little sister have like the touch. I'm over here like I can make stir fry. I would say top 3. I can't say 1.
That's okay.
But it's Plia. No, it's Bokman, which is like my mom makes it. I don't know if it's common to other people, but it's like unripened mango with chicken, cilantro, lime type flavors.
That sounds so.
And just shredded chicken and all that together with the unripened mango. And then chakreung, which is that chicken lemongrass Okay. And my mom likes to use bone, but I don't like it with bone. I'm like, did you really use it with bone? And then I love salamachu, and it's the only way I'll eat like celery because it's soaked in all the flavors already. It doesn't have the celery taste anymore to it. So that'd be my top three. And then there's a top four. There's like, so we call it katil, which is Khmer pho, but it's katil. So that's like a classic. Tastes a little different, but you just can't go wrong with it.
The celery
top four.
dish. What else is in that?
That's a good question. You need to ask my mom.
Can we call her?
We could. Some sort of greens, some tamarind base.
Is it like a soup or like
it's a soup? It's a soup. Yeah, it's a soup. You can use. Normally, it's with pork, like sliced pork, celery, some tamarind base. Y'all can write in if it's wrong.
Delicious.
I did not say I know how to cook really well. So,
well, if you want some folks to experiment on and up your cooking skills,
stop by the pot.
I mean, we won't say no. Jefferson made lunch today.
Oh, nice.
My mom cooks once a week. And then we have another volunteer that cooks once a week, but you don't have to cook for the whole
Yeah, so which day will you be taking?
I know.
I'm gonna be at my profile.
Yeah, she's
like I clean my schedule. I was like, I'm just gonna focus on trying to get a facial the next week and then just having the baby.
I like your boundaries
slowing down.
Too. You keep saying that. You're like, I'm having a baby. I'm not gonna be around. I'm not gonna be around.
Yeah, when we talked about timeline, I'm like, hey, let's get it done by March.
Yeah. Right on time.
I just want to share this one memory from one of the Cambodian New Year festivals a few years ago. So sometimes we try to bring food when we table events, whether it's like snacks or fruit or something, just to, we're the food bank. So it seems like it makes sense to, hand out food. And one year, I brought dragon fruit to the Cambodian New Year festival, and I was setting up the table, and it was like the festival hadn't even really started yet, but there was still some folks out, but all the aunties came to our table, and I felt like a celebrity, but it was really the dragon fruit that was the celebrity. And I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna have enough to like last the rest of the celebration. I have to put these under the table. And it was so cute because as we know here at White Center Food Bank, like word of mouth is really strong, like, and so folks would come up and be like, hey,
do you have any more?
You have dragon fruit. Like my friend got some. Do you have more? And I couldn't say no.
It's like a delicacy.
I mean, sometimes when you see them at the grocery store, they're like very expensive. So it makes sense.
Yeah. That's good. Now you gotta pace yourself with the dragon fruit.
Right.
Don't show all your goods.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No. It's been a wonderful experience. And I'm just thankful for these opportunities that y'all have provided me. And like, I didn't realize like how I collaborate. It's a lot different than other artists or people that you work with. So it makes me happy to hear like, it should just be, what are y'all looking for?
Yes.
Like, what do you need? I
mean, I haven't been directly, working with you, but just from the outside kind of looking in, the team speaks so highly of you, and it's just like, from what I can tell, it's just so easy to work with you, and like it all fits, like this is White Center Food Bank. So it's like a very good match, a very good partnership.
Thank you. And like, Jefferson is has great leadership skills in like art direction too. So I take a lot of guidance from that, and where things I don't think about, I'm like, oh yeah, good point. Like between just even working with Randy, it's just super receptive, really thoughtful, open-minded, just super easy to talk to. Very like how the team works. Like innovation moving forward is important to me. Like just because things are done a certain way for a very long time
Yes.
Doesn't mean it has to be. You have to approach it a little differently, because some things are just they work. But just working with y'all has just been easy, like in a good way, like just hey, let's tweak this, move that. Oh, it's easiest. Let's do this. Like if we're gonna do another annual report, I would have done one more thing differently. I would have thought about the fold line.
Oh.
I was like, when I saw, I was like, darn, I just need to scoot up a little more, scooting down a
Oh.
little more, because it folded on the text, and I personally that bothers me. But
Oh.
other people might not think about it, but I'm like, ooh, I should have forgot about the fold line.
I noticed that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was-
but
next time.
overall, it was still it turned out great. The colors were really rich, and
Beautiful.
it was nice.
Really beautiful. We love working with folks like you, and you in particular, because like you've kind of taken our feedback and the team's like ideas, and you've just like turned it into something so beautiful, like better than what we could have ever imagined. And I think that speaks to obviously your skills, but also the partnership and just your willingness to work with the team. I mean, you've created so many things, but for us that are so beautiful. And I mean, in thinking of the Taste of White Center, it's like it's become like our brand, right, for White Center Food Bank. So we've gotten so much from you. Like now people, I think, see your art, they recognize it, they associate it with the food bank, particularly the Taste of White Center poster. So, I mean, we have endless gratitude for you and just continuing to work with us, and hope that we can continue to foster this relationship together and see what else we can create together.
I would add
Yeah.
that I mean, big gratitude, and just to connect it back, like to be explicit. I think when we talk about having White Center be a space of belonging for folks that grew up here, and making sure that we always include everybody and that we uplift community, you're exactly who we should be working with, right? Local artists, and local vendors.
Well said, Gabby. So, Theary, if folks want to like follow you on social media, where can they find you? Can they buy your art anywhere?
Yeah, I have an Instagram, so it's Theary Emery on Instagram, and my website is thearyemery.com. So it showcases some of the old designs from That's Filthy. So a lot of the Seahawks sports art, and some of the White Center art without the Taste of White Center, because there's like totes there too, and then
Purchasing.
I'm already shopping in my mind.
yeah, and then like and then I have a journal that I want to give y'all when we're done. So I designed a journal.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was just a fun project that my friend and I did. I was like, oh, let's just try it. So it's like just a nice little journal. I'm like, the shop will be quiet for a while, but there's panda stickers. There's just cute things
Awesome.
that I like. So you can check it out. It's thearyemery.com, and just find me on Instagram on Theary Emery. Yeah, I love connecting with people, and I want to uplift other women, people of color, just to try to get out of their comfort zone. And if they're like, even if just to get out of the comfort zone, like that's where I feel like the magic happens. And if you really want to do something, you gotta go for it, no matter how late. Like I did a career change 3 years ago, and I was in my late 30s, So, but it's something I really wanted to do, and now I'm happy and not stressed out, and like working remotely and doing fun projects like this, like giving back to the community through art. Like, so you never know. I just feel like if you find your flow, whatever that is, more opportunities keep opening up for you. And sometimes it takes a while to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good advice, and that's definitely advice I would give my younger self, is to get uncomfortable and just to go for it.
Yeah, it might appear like you know what you're doing, but you really don't. You're just like, well, I either go left or right. I just gotta pick. I gotta decide.
Yes, yeah. I definitely feel that now.
Just gotta decide something and just take that step.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. It's really an honor to have you and to get to be in community with you and keep us posted on the little
I
one.
will.
But don't put too much pressure on yourself to like reach out to the food bank and let us know that you had a baby.
We will be here.
We will be here. You know where to find us whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
But April seems like a really busy month for the food bank. We have a bunch of events on April 26th, including Cambodian New Year here in downtown White Center. What else do we got going on that day?
There's a fun run from Future Primitive. That's a fundraiser for the food bank. Tim's Tavern on the same day is also having an all-day music festival that's to raise awareness about organizations in White Center. We're doing our volunteer appreciation for event at
Arrowhead.
at Arrowhead Gardens, where we do a mobile food bank. So that's a big day, April 26th, coming right up.
Yeah. And then so folks can maybe go on a fun run, stop through downtown White Center for some beef skewers at the Cambodian New Year Festival from Samway, and then make your way to Tim's Tavern to close it all off. And then the White Center 5K is coming back after how many years?
2019 was the last
6
time.
years?
So, yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
6 years. So White Center 5K to benefit White Center Food Bank, the Yes Foundation of White Center, and the White Center CDA. And that is going to kick off from Steve Cox.
Steve Cox Park,
Yeah.
May 3rd.
May 3rd,
9
9
a.m.
a.m. So hopefully see you all there at one of those events. And you can find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're at White Center Food Bank on all platforms. Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.